Learner, welcome to our lesson, Human Resource Management, on the platform of Manifested Publishers platform. And now, today's lesson, we are looking at performance management, and we are looking at challenges of performance management. And these challenges may be looked at also as difficulties, challenges, or you can say difficulties, difficulties of performance management. Performance management. We want to discuss a few of the difficulties or the challenges that may be associated with the performance management process. And as we have been indicating in our previous lessons, when it comes to the process of performance management, you have workers on one side, you have employees on the other side, and you are looking at the productivity or production of employees, production of also supervisors. And one of the challenges that may be encountered in the process of performance management is the lack of integration, of integration of the performance management with other organizational processes. So you have a situation where the performance management process is supposed to be, for example, undertaken within an organization for a given period of time, maybe 1 year. But that performance management process or performance management function or activity is not integrated with other organizational processes. So that creates some kind of a conflict, and that becomes a challenge because for effective performance management, then it has to be integrated within the wider organizational activities and so on. Then sometimes another problem that could be encountered in performance management is the challenge of lack of effective leadership and commitment of senior management. So senior management may commission, for example, the process of performance management to be undertaken in an organization. But where the top management does not give their commitment, that they don't support this particular process by providing the required leadership, then that becomes a very difficult situation to overcome, because as you come down within the organization, other lower organizational levels may not take this effectively, especially if the top management of that particular organization has not supported the process of performance management effectively. Then sometimes wrong design of performance management and performance management tools. So the tools or the instruments that are being used, for the performance management process are not designed appropriately. You may go to one organization and you find the same tool that is being used by production department is the same tool that is being used by management department, the same tool that is being used by a marketing department. So you have marketing, you have production, you have finance, and you have HR, for example. So if you are using the same tool to evaluate different functions, then the wrong design of performance management and performance management system and performance management tools, that creates a problem within a given organization, and that could compromise the results that are likely to be achieved from this particular process, and that is another difficulty or a challenge of performance management. Then sometimes there is the element of the incompetence of managers, supervisors, or employees regarding performance management. For example, Lana, a supervisor is supposed to agree with the employee on the targets to be achieved at the beginning of the year or at the beginning of the evaluation period. But due to incompetence, these targets are not set. These targets are not fixed. The supervisor does not ask, the employee is not aware, or they don't fix them appropriately or properly, and so on. Then that may compromise again the process of performance management. So incompetence of managers, supervisors regarding the performance management that is supposed to be conducted within an organization may sometimes be a difficulty or a bottleneck that may compromise the process of performance management. Then sometimes performance management may be, you may be implementing a performance management process, but changes take place. So when an organization failure to take into consideration changes that may be taking place in an organization. So, dear learner, they say that change is the only constant, and an organization may experience some changes that were not foreseen. So when a performance management system had been set up for that particular period of time, then the performance management process, the performance management must take into consideration the changes. But where an organization does not take into consideration changes that could be taking place when the performance management process is being implemented, then that one becomes a big challenge for that performance management process within that particular organization. Then inability to conduct quarterly reviews of performance management. So what you are saying, Lana, you may have an organization that is doing its performance management for a period of 12 months. But 12 months is a long time in relation to organizational activities. So if you start in January and you'll do your evaluation of what you have done the other January, so the 12 months elapse. So it is imperative that for you to keep tabs of what is happening, maybe after every, let's say, 4 months or 3 months, an evaluation is done to monitor whether you are on course and so on. So inability to conduct quarterly reviews of performance management or half-yearly reviews of the performance management in an organization creates a challenge within an organizational setting, and that could also lead to bottlenecks or difficulties in performance management processes and so on. Then not giving teams, not giving or providing teams with clear goals or objectives. So you have teams, you have individuals, you have groups, for example, but these groups are not given clear objectives that they are supposed to be able to achieve, clear targets that they are supposed to be achieved, that they are supposed to achieve in a performance management, for example, cycle. So when that is now not done, it becomes very difficult for you to achieve consistent, for example, results, and that becomes, again, one of the challenges in relation to the process of performance management. So again, lack of effective communication, a lack of effective communication regarding expectations. So lack of effective communication regarding expectations, that is also another challenge that may accrue or may be encountered by an organization in the process of performance management. And then also number 9, utilization of paper processes, performance management processes that are unnecessarily slow. So basically, you can imagine if you have an organization with, say, 2,000 employees, and you are going to agree on targets, you are going to fill forms, and these processes are largely manual. So what you are saying, these processes are largely manual processes. So these processes may be time consuming. These processes will be time consuming, slow, and manual. So that again becomes a challenge or a difficulty in the in performance management in any given organization. So that again is a bottleneck that an organization has to be able to address in order to ensure that this process is effective. Then, dear learner, challenges that may again accrue because performance management is conducted in the context of business. So the other challenge that could be encountered will be lack of authority for employees to perform their tasks, their work. So workers are given work to do, but they are not given commensurate authority. So that again becomes a challenge. Workers are waiting, there is no authority, there is no clear communication, so they'll be waiting and wasting time. So these, dear learner, could be some of the main problems, the main challenges, the main bottlenecks that may be encountered by an organization or by an entity that intends to conduct performance management. So we can go through them again in a form of summary. We have looked at challenges or difficulties or bottlenecks in performance management, dear learner, and we have indicated that, number 1, lack of integration of the performance management with other organizational processes is one of the challenges. Challenge number 2, lack of effective leadership and commitment of supervisors in an organization is also a challenge to performance management. Number 3, wrong design of performance management system. Wrong design of a performance management system and performance management tools. So you are using a wrong design you are using wrong tools or instruments to do the evaluation of performance management. So that is a bottleneck or a difficulty in performance management. Number 4, incompetence of managers, supervisors, or employees regarding performance management. They don't have a clear understanding or grounding in terms of what is supposed to be done, what is expected. Number 5, failure to take into consideration changes that may be taking place in an organization. Number 6, inability to conduct quarterly reviews of performance management. Number 7, not giving or providing teams with clear goals or objectives. Number 8, lack of effective communication regarding expectations. Number 9, utilization of paper performance management processes that are unnecessarily slow, time-consuming, and manual. That is another challenge. Number 10, lack of authority for employees to perform their work. So, dear learner, these ones are some of the challenges or bottlenecks that may be encountered by an organization that is conducting or is aspiring to conduct performance management. So, dear learner, your assignment for today is based now on the challenges of performance management that we have looked at. Your assignment is assess the measures that may be taken assess the measures that may be taken to overcome the challenges encountered in performance management. So, dear learner, this is your assignment. Assess the measures that may be taken to overcome the challenges encountered in performance management. So, dear learner, I want to thank you very much for being attentive in our lesson today, which was challenges of performance management. Thank you.